This podcast provides a platform that will share many different points of views that should empower you, uplift you, make you want to go out and do right. When you hear the term still a man, say, yes, I am. Still a man. Yes, I am. Still a man. Yes, I am. Let's go.
What's up, people? Welcome to another exciting edition of the Still a Man podcast. Tonight, we will be discussing a subject that might be taboo and kind of sensitive to others, but we're going to talk about it anyways. So tonight, we're going to be discussing, are white women afraid of black men? Yes, my people. This is a question. This is something that is plaguing our great nation and beyond. Yes, white people, since the day of lynching, they have been making false reports about their fear of black men. As far back as the Emmett Till situation, we all know what happened to Emmett Till. He had an encounter with a white woman, and I believe that her people, the fellow men. You want to tell the story?
Was whistle. He whistled at her, and they went to his people's house and got him out of his bed and all that.
So as Timmy was stating, so this was the fears in this situation. It seems like the fear of the white man that the young black strapping attractive young man would have the audacity to break the rules of the self and open up his mouth and speak or make a gesture or even a sound towards a white woman. Well, it's still going on in this day and time, but this white woman and others have decided that they would scream to the high heavens that they are in fear of black men. And even if they're not saying it, their actions are speaking volumes. So let's talk about it. So
I want to know how can they be fair when the men messing around with the black women? So tell me why the white women are fair with black men, because you got white men messing with black women and Puerto Ricans and all type of nationalities are messing with white men. So
let me go on and state this disclaimer before we go ahead and jump off the cliff and start swimming in uncharted waters or deep waters. The perspectives, opinions, the things that's going to be stated on tonight's show are the perspectives and the views of the panel members and theirs alone. They no way reflect the thoughts, the perspective, the perception of the Still a Man platform. So with that being said, let's get to it. So again, if you're just joining us, the question, the topic is, are white women afraid of black men? Now, just so we stay true to topic, we are referring to the sense I'm talking about in fear. When they see them, they run the other way, like a monster is chasing them, or like they fear for their life, or that someone's going to take something from them, preferably their life, their money, their jewelry, their car, their house, things of that nature, their children. In some sense, I'm talking about the white women. When they see black men, they do this. And those are the type of white
Sounds
women
like a Karen to me.
that we are talking about. All right. So to be fair, let's go ahead. We're gonna get our resident Patsy, seeing that she, as we spoke about this earlier, seeing that Patsy is at this time our only Caucasian sister on the panel. We want to get her point of view. We want to get her perspective. Now, bear in mind, everyone, Patsy is not speaking for the whole female white race. She's telling you from her personal experience. So go ahead and tell the kind people how you feel about this situation. Patsy?
Laughable. Like, seriously, like, I grew up here in Boston. I grew up with the older Brewington clan.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, all y'all are black. So it's like, to me, it's like, y'all are family to me. To me, it's like, why am I going to be scared of a black man, black woman, Puerto Rican man, whoever? Y'all ain't no different than what I am. So why am I scared of you?
Oh, but wait 1 second. Robert, did you just hear what Patsy said? She said we're black. Did you know you was black, Robert?
I'm looking at my skin right now. Somebody help me out.
Oh, man.
Did you know you was black?
He said he was the last time.
I know,
right? And you
So
know what's funny? You know what's funny? It's like being around people, whether I worked around them or went to school with them or whatever. Some people actually made the comment that I am the blackest white woman that they ever know. I'm like, really? Like, seriously?
Yeah, you
like,
get a card.
Yeah, that's
like, I could
you
look at myself like, okay.
You are an endangered. You are an endangered species. That's what you are. You're right up there with the black man.
I act is like kind of to them contradict what I am color-wise. So it's like, this is who I am, and this is pretty much how I was raised around multi color neighborhoods. No, so to me, it's like y'all ain't no different than what I am. You know, my mother raised me to kind of not literally colorblind, but to be colorblind to what people are color-wise or racial-wise. You know, it's like you gotta be you gotta see them for who they are as a person and not a color. If that makes sense.
It makes perfect sense. So I guess it's safe to say that Patsy is not afraid of black men.
Anything else?
Okay, well, see that's making it even clearer. Okay, let's get another sister's opinion. Tanya, you ready? How do you feel about this? I don't even want to call it a pandemic. I want to say the latest craze, or this ongoing craze, because like I said early on, it's historical. It's something that is ongoing. It's been plaguing us since the beginning of time, so to speak, as far back as we can remember. And then we don't even need to rely on our own thoughts anymore. You can just type in anything on the internet, and you can find the most heinous acts committed against men of color based upon a white woman's word, going far back as 40s or more. So let's get your perspective on that, Tanya.
Well, I think, excuse me, I think that it has to do with the environment that they were brought in and the people that they're surrounding themselves with, and the character. It's got to be the character of that person and the person that they're dealing with. Because I have a lot of cousins who are married to white women, are dating white women, you know, and it has to be, and I don't think that they're scared of a black man. You know, it's the environment that they were brought up in, and the people they have around, because society will make them instill in their mind and their being that black men are hostile, how can I put this, bad, always
We're
angry.
monsters. We're boogeymen.
Yes, always angry. Yes. And so if they're reacting that way, it has to do with what they've been subjecting themselves to, how they were raised, the environment they are around. Like people be around like people. You understand what I'm saying? That's why you're supposed to have different types of friends, or being not of the same mindset or color, but they have different life experiences, so you can grow as a person.
Mm.
All right. Let's go ahead and get a male's perspective on it. Big brother T, you want to give people your perspective on this?
Well, I don't see it really. I mean, if that is the case, then it's the man's problem, because he's intimidated by the black men, and so he might be brainwashing the women, because he's he's afraid that he's going to lose them to black men, which is stupid, because I don't understand, because y'all didn't have no problem making light-skinned babies.
So just so we clear,
and having kids with the slave. So what's the problem here?
All right, so just so we're clear, when you say the man is in fear, you're referring to the white man.
Right.
In fear that his women will start to find something attractive about the black male or the man of color.
Well, it's evident that it would be beautiful men, beautiful women. Why wouldn't it? You know? Mm-hmm. So the thing is that they don't have control anymore. You know? So now they got to find something to try to gain back what they are losing, and they losing more than they gaining. So they doing a lot of trickery stuff, you know, tell lies, plant dumb seeds in people's head, make them think something, and it's really not that, you know. So it's a lot of that going on, and that's why they started talking about this replacement stuff, you know.
So you feel that these white women are sense that crying wolf, that they are doing this under the tutelage of the white man, so they being coerced and basically you're giving them a script. This is your lines. This is what you would do.
But it doesn't necessarily have to be the man. It's like in everything in the court system, you know, it has to do with a preconditioned thought process. You know, they could be totally in love with this person, okay, and they have a disagreement where she doesn't even call the police, but the neighbor might call the police, and the police comes and see this interracial marriage, you know, and so it could be the police officer who's coming with a preconditioned attitude towards the men. So she might not even feel afraid, but they're making her feel afraid by the way that they're reacting.
Or they're claiming that she's unfair. They're
Yes.
making the argument for her.
Yes.
Okay, Josie, you wanna dive in? So while she's straightening out her mic situation, Gregory, you want to go ahead and chime in?
I think it's the upbringing, like Tanya was saying, and don't forget that people's grandparents' parents were slaves, so it's conditioning. It's coming out of conditioning right now. And if you didn't grow up in the hood like Patsy, I'm pretty sure that you pick and choose the times the way you interact because of your background. You wouldn't want to seem like you're mixing with the wrong crowd and everybody in your background is going to be like, what are you doing over there?
Mm-hmm.
The reason why Mississippi is still segregated.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Even in parts of Alabama, it's the same way.
Let's go. Robert, you want to jump in this conversation?
Is a white lady scared to date a black man?
I don't know if it's so much about dating, just are they in fear of black men?
Maybe
no
so.
Names.
I'm gonna say some could be, and then I don't believe it to the highest point of thinking that could be possible either myself. But like I said, some could be, and then for my beliefs, it's a new day and time. White women are basically eating. This is not to sound prejudiced or anything. Eating black people's food, getting black people's body, talking to the black men like they're their brother or cousin or father, sleeping with them the same way a black woman sleeps with them. If they're in fear of a black man, it's only because the stereotype that we are pretty much angry, we come off aggressive, we probably beat fair into them to get what we want, or we're a great user when it comes to a white woman. So all these bad things plus some that they hear about that race might make them a little bit cautious, scared a little, but I don't think to the fullest the way people are saying it is now, because it's 2022.
Okay.
And over the last 5 years, there's more biracial babies in the world today since the last 5 years. It's been, interracial babies being born.
Mm-hmm.
So it
right.
can't be that. It can't be that what they're saying. That's just like I was saying before. That's those men that's trying to, paint a narrative that this is what's happening. So they reach the younger generation and tell them this nonsense. They'll be able to save them from interacting with black men.
Majority of the time, you just pushing them closer to
Exactly.
they carry.
Exactly.
They want to know, why is he or she saying that they're so bad? Maybe I should find out myself. And then they fall in love.
Exactly.
Okay.
Love has no color.
Deli, you want to jump in here?
Hi, good evening. Good Tuesday evening, everybody. I caught late wind of it, but just from the gist of it, Tanya, I like what you're saying, and Robert, you as well, and Timmy too, because it's a new time, a new age, a new era. And I think, as Tanya said, love has no color. And when you drop those boundaries, I don't believe that white women are fear of black men. They're very curious and they're very open and free beings. And that is the nature of their culture. So I don't believe that they have the fear.
Okay, that's right to the point. Brother Bird, you still with us? So you guys have to turn on your mics.
Well, I turned it off so I can listen.
Okay, we got you now. We can hear you.
I don't know, man. I'm in a place where I don't even give a shit about stuff like that. You know what I mean? To be honest, but I believe, like people, everyone's saying the same thing. If you're looking at a 50-year-old white woman, yes, there probably is that fear. A 50-year-old white woman living in Attleboro, Massachusetts. Yeah, I can see it. You know, holding your purse or, you know, turning, keep looking over your shoulder. I get it, but it's cool to be black, and this generation and 10 more generations, you know, beyond or below, I don't see a fear. I mean, again, if you're in, someone mentioned Mississippi and Alabama, I guess so, but I'm not in that. That don't affect me, my bills, my life, my nothing. So, you know, everything just carries on. Something like that, I'm not really somebody that really worries or puts that anywhere in my, you know, computer box or my thinking cloud to worry about white women being afraid of black men. I mean, I see.
So
I'll hold this one. I had a nasty one for you guys, and I would have had to sign off if I said that shit, but I'm gonna keep that one to me.
Oh. Okay, so
that would have hurt you, motherfucker.
Hurt me, please.
I mean, you know, we like sharing, just don't use no names.
It ain't
okay. Well,
nothing to do with names.
All right,
no
I'm gonna
names.
let you. I'm
gonna shut that up and I'm gonna put that in thinking cloud. Never mind.
All right. You gonna put that in the box
about that.
All right, so let's piggyback on something Bird said about the white women in fear of losing their purses. So let me ask the guys and the women too. Have you ever seen a situation where one of our Caucasian sisters have clutched her pearls or held on tight to her purse when walking past one or more black men? Have you ever seen something like that? Tanya, have you ever witnessed anything like that?
Yes.
And how did that make you feel?
How did that make me feel?
Yeah.
She don't even know him. But I mean, she just clutching her pearls or her pocketbook just because she see a black man. Mm-hmm. I mean, he could, and her, I can't even say that because I don't know what her perception, he could be in a suit. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And she might not clutch her pocketbook, or she might. I really don't know. Right. But the one that I saw, he was just dressed in jeans and a hoodie.
She got a misconception of him because of
it's a stereotype.
Yeah.
Well, let me tell you, this happened to me. This happened to me. She grabbed onto her bag, and you know what I said? I said, listen up real quick. Excuse me. Bleep me out. I said, bitch, ain't nobody worried about you.
see?
Yeah.
And I just kept it moving. I didn't even look. I didn't say shit. It just was, excuse me again. It was just so weird to actually see this lady. Like, she didn't clench it, but I seen her arm move closer and tighter into her purse under her arm. And I looked and I just, you know, that was the first thing that came to my mind, and I just kept it moving.
Right.
I ain't seen nothing else.
All right. Robert, have you ever been, have you ever witnessed this? Have you ever experienced it?
I don't think I have. I'm not going to sit here and say I have. And if I did, I suppressed that. It had been years and years and years ago. So everything about me is let's flow with the good and drown the bad. So if I seen it, I don't remember it. I can't recall it right now.
Well, she as you stated before, I mean, because you didn't know you was that you was a man of color until recently. So
maybe 20 minutes ago.
Yeah, 20 minutes
listen,
ago.
Honestly, I just found out I had a deep suntan.
Oh,
okay.
So
yeah.
you got all your life. Okay. So let's talk to one of the darker brothers on the panel. Let's get his perspective. Minister of Conspiracy, G. Lacey, You wanna
You know,
enlighten?
everybody that's saying they haven't experienced it, you experienced it, and it goes back to slavery once again, because it's more than just clutching a purse. It's a what are you doing in this ear? What are you doing around me type thing.
Exactly.
That's what's going on. It's not
You
just the
ain't
clutching a
supposed to.
purse. You're not supposed to be in front of me.
Right.
Have you experienced this before?
Of course. That's what I was just saying. We've all been in a neighborhood where everybody's looking at you funny. You might have went out to eat somewhere nice. And oh my God, it's black people in here. They can't believe it.
Right.
You
Well,
know, since you said that, I think that kind of happened to us when Terrell came up here to visit and he took us out to Roof Chris, but we went to one that was like in the white suburban area. And we was the only black people in there when we went to go eat. And it was about, let me see, me, Robert, Quana. Well, yeah, it was four of us. And we just went in there to eat. And the fact that Terrell worked for Roof Chris, but they had no idea of knowing that. But we was just ordering stuff. And they was looking at us like,
you gonna pay this bill?
Pay for this, yep. Or you gonna try to ditch out.
yes, exactly.
Okay. You know what? Let's get into that first video. Tech person, you want to roll that first video?
Please don't come close to me. Please call the cops. Please call the cops.
Oh my God, that was loud.
Please tell them whatever you like.
Would you please stop? Sir, I'm asking you to stop.
Please don't come close to me.
Sir, I'm asking you to stop recording me.
Please don't come close to me.
Please take your phone off.
Please don't come close to
And
me.
I'm taking pictures calling the cops.
Please call the cops. Please call the cops.
I'm going to tell them there's an African American man threatening my life.
Please tell them whatever you like.
Oh.
Excuse me? I'm sorry, I'm in Rambo, and there is a man, African American, he has a bicycle helmet. He is recording me and threatening me and my dog.
They ain't even gonna come.
There is an African American man, I am in Central Park. He is recording me and threatening myself and my dog.
Oh. He threatened her and her dog. Did he really?
No.
No.
He's recording her, letting her dog in the yard.
Right.
I don't know.
Thank you.
She put it on.
Hey, did you guys hear about that store online? One Stop Shop? EmporiumPlus.org. Go over there now, where you can find the latest fashions. And the Dr. Parrish Youth Serum, Still a Man, a Dr. Parrish Ladies First, SOS Support Our Sisters, and Envy Forever. Go, gravitate to the fashions that will make you look better.
She tried to use the car.
Okay, so
she could have got him killed.
But they're not really taking her serious.
Oh no!
She tried to.
Some situations they float out there, and
Right.
I watch this almost every day, at least 2 or 3 of those videos, and they come out.
But with her, they can tell. You listen, they didn't even pick up the phone right away. You see her over pacing the ground and stuff. Then she going, oh,
it's almost like she had the attitude, I dare you be recording me.
But you see,
that was 6 months into the pandemic, and she was found guilty of falsely accusing.
Good, you got.
That's right.
That was on the news for like a good couple of months off and on.
Yeah. So let me ask you guys. Let me jump in here real quick. just for our visually impaired viewers, someone give a verbal account of what was shown in that video, so that if any of our viewers with a vision problem, they can't see what's going on. Tanya, give us a verbal overview of what was taking place in that video.
What, there was an African-American gentleman in the park bird watching, and this Caucasian woman came with her dog and was allowing her dog to use the bathroom in the area where it wasn't designated for the dog to use the bathroom. And he took out the phone because he actually was telling her to put her dog back on the leash. Mm-hmm. And she was basically just ignoring him. So he started to record her. And that's when she got to stop recording me, stop recording me. I'm gonna call the police, stop recording me. And you saw what transpired. So she actually went up to him and tried to grab the phone, block the phone from him recording her. So she was actually assaulting him.
Yeah.
Now, can I ask you a question for our blind viewers? How was this this gentleman dressed?
He had on and a jacket with a hat, and he had binoculars, bird watching with sneakers.
And Patsy, you was good to point out this happened during the pandemic.
Yeah.
Okay. Did he have a mask on?
No.
Did she have a mask on?
She's outside.
No. So she didn't have a mask on, and he didn't have a mask on.
No, but he
was a typical kid.
Outside.
He was in an area where he was by himself, but he was bird watching.
But he didn't have a mask on.
No.
Well,
outside
you really don't need the mask on.
Right.
So let's
in a crowd of people.
So let me be clear, guys. I'm not really pushing the issue about the mask as it pertains to the corona. I'm trying to play devil's advocate. I'm trying to figure out as to why this woman would be so in fear of this black man. You said he did not have a mask on.
She wasn't.
So he didn't look like a robber, like he was coming to rob her or anything. No. He didn't have a mask on.
Her whole problem.
It was more like this. The nerve of you black man trying to expose me and put me out there because my dog is doing something wrong.
She was abusing her privilege.
That's exactly what it is.
She was abusing her privilege. She's white privilege, and she figured, I'll call the police on you if you try to tell on me.
If the dog pees, there's nothing you could do about dog peeing, but their poop, you just got to get that nonsense up. You got to get that up. And,
so what makes him the damn dog police to tell somebody what to do with their dog? Dog police, man.
She took it too far. Now, had the role been reversed,
how about he just mind his business?
He was minding his business.
Here's what's happening.
He asked her to put her dog back on the leash because he was bird watching.
Okay, so let me all right, Sean, you want to jump in there?
Okay, so pertaining to this video for how we jumped on it, the background to this story is this was a male and a female in Central Park. He was in a certain part of Central Park where in Central Park your dog is supposed to be on a leash. He was telling her could you please put your dog back on a leash while he was in the park, mind you, on a bike, but he was actually bird watching. And so because he confronted her about putting her dog on the leash, she began to, however the altercation between those two, the interaction took place that way. And so he began to record it. And so in the process of recording her, she wanted him to stop recording him. And so that's why she said she'll call the cops. Because what we also missed, because we was talking over it, did you all hear how when she called the call in, she all of a sudden changed her voice as if she was frantic.
Yeah, I heard that.
To even draw more attention to it. And although it was during the pandemic, it was actually literally right after the whole George Floyd situation, to where she was, when we started now seeing all these videos of, she was one of the original 4 females that we started calling Karen. So that's the background to that. And had you called on me earlier when you asked about our white women inferior fear black men, I would have used this as an example, because I would have said, no, I don't think they're in fear of us, because as you can see, they may call on us and this, that, and the other, but you see how many times she approached him. And that happens a lot, because what happens is when these white women or whatever call the cops or thinking that, you know, we're thinking that they're in fear of us, they're not, because they stay right there. They don't leave where they are. So they're not in fear of us. What they do is they believe that they're superior to us.
There you go.
Keyword.
Sean.
So 2 things, guys. First of all, Sean, let me apologize for the oversight. Guys,
no
so if I didn't call on you earlier, that's because I didn't know you was here. I didn't hear your mic on. So if that happens, in any case, just feel free to jump right in so that I know that you're here. Second of all, I'm gonna ask everybody that while the video is going on, let's withhold our comments until after the video is over, so that way we can hear everything. We can hear the audio, because the audio of the video is sometimes it goes high and it goes low, so there's things that you might miss. Now, as she put on her frantic voice, was it just me, or did even the dog switch up its personality? Did the dog start crying when she said that he's threatening me and my dog? I thought I heard the dog start whimpering.
It was because of the way that she was holding, because she never put him on a leash. She was holding him on his collar.
Right.
And he's trying to get loose because he wants to continue running. She's restraining him.
So now if I'm on the other end of this phone call and I'm dispatched, and if I'm preconditioned to feel a certain way, if I'm preconditioned to feel a certain way about interactions with white men and black men and white women, and I hear her being frantic and the dog is whimpering and crying too, I'm not there. I don't see what's going on. I would probably think that her threat is real. The threat is real because of her voice, and even when she said he's threatening me and my dog, and the dog's crying, it seems like everybody is in fear. So
well, I wonder if he had her on live.
I think he did.
He did.
I think he did.
Yeah.
And that's why, and you
that's
know,
why she wanted him to stop recording.
Exactly. But I will point out, I will touch something that you guys said, that Sean said too, about if she was so much in fear, why did she approach him in such a confrontational, aggressive manner? She tried to snatch the phone out of his hand. If you are that much in fear, why would you jeopardize yourself by getting that close to me?
Because the end result to that is, if I attack this man, grab his property, he's gonna put hands on me like I need him to. So when the police come, this makes my case look even more better.
You guys are very receptive, very observant.
She's testing her privilege out. It's a superiority complex.
Provoke him with her privilege. Exactly.
Yeah, but she failed to forget him videotaping her. Like, if she like it did go to court, the judge is gonna look at that video, because they're gonna show that video that he has on his phone in the courtroom, and they can see, the judge will see, damn, no, he won't say like out loud, like, damn, this bitch like came back and forth at him. like she did and want to fake like she's scared of him. But really, it was her being aggressive and not him. He stood his ground and he stood pretty much in one spot and really did not do anything towards her except to tell her, can you put that dog on a leash? That's it.
Now, I want to know. I want to know what's alarming, what's frightening about. I mean, this black man bird watching. He might be one of the more, non-aggressive members of the black nation. I don't. And excuse me if I'm wrong, but I don't know too many black men to be bird watching in Central Square in New York. So is this a common practice?
I told you, we are now. That could have been 2020.
Yeah, it is. It is.
But,
they play chess and they bird watch and stuff.
But we're now in 2020. The world has changed from what you know it to be. Black men do a lot of things that you might not have found interesting back then in 2010, 1990. They do a lot of different things that you might consider Caucasian men to do.
Now let's stay right there. Let's
how
stay
about
right
things
there.
that we showed them how to do, and now we don't do it.
And I think
that's right.
And I think that's the fear. And I think that's the fear that represents the threat, the real threat. But I feel like you guys need a little more education on this matter. Tech person, you want to go ahead and roll that second video?
I live here, you're blocking the door.
What unit?
I don't need to tell you that.
As Diarian Tolles tried to walk into his luxury apartment complex in downtown St. Louis.
Ma'am, you're not security. You're not the property manager. You're not Mike Herman.
No, but I live here.
Okay, I live here too.
The businessman was blocked by this woman, even though he had a key to his building.
All I'm asking is what unit?
But you're not, I don't need to tell you that information, ma'am.
If you want to come into my building.
It's not your building. You're not the owner.
Tolles eventually pushed his way in, the woman following him to his unit and calling police.
I think it was race. I think it was age. I think it was the clothes that I had on because I had on a hoodie.
And you see my keys in the door.
I had to pull out my phone just because of the way society is.
Oh, I want the cops here right now.
The encounter is the latest viral video capturing questionable behavior as police are called on African Americans for seemingly no reason.
Did I just send it to you? Grill, but not a charcoal grill.
From barbecuing to babysitting while black.
Got these little kids scared. This lady's following us.
This encounter coming with consequences. The woman in the video has now been fired by her employer.
I do not want to speak with you. Please stop following me.
An unneighborly confrontation leaving fences unmended. Miguel Almaguer, NBC News.
Hey, NBC News fans, thanks for.
Okay, guys. So I'm just going to remind you guys, this is an open forum, so you guys don't have to raise your hand to get involved. If I don't call on you, you have a view, you have something to say, opinion, just jump right in. From time to time, I will call on certain people just to keep the flow of the discussion going. So again, I'm going to ask Bird first. How do you feel about that video, Bird?
He lost the words.
All right. While Bird is fixing his mic, let's go to Deli. Deli, how you feel about that video?
I don't know. I seen stuff like that happen before, similar, but it's. I think it's stereotyping as well. I think it's superior, where Caucasian women think that they are superior of Black men. As I said, I always think of Adam and Eve. They're really interested. They want to bite, but because of their history and their culture, they're forbidden. They're forbidden. That is the culture. You're forbidden to be or to talk to a Black or a man of color. And then there's some that are free from that, So I don't know. Like I said, I've seen that happen before, but that's stereotyping and that's just playing a part of their privilege.
Okay. Josie, are you still with us? Maria, are you? Josie, you're with
right
us?
there.
All right, Josie, go on and I want you to comment on that last video about the lady's behavior.
The one when she's following him around.
When
The one
had him go in the building.
Yes.
Into his building.
Yes.
Insultive. I mean, like it speaks volumes of her character, and it serves her right that she got fired. You know, social media goes a long way these days. It's like putting a bigger light on what people has been hiding all along. I personally have had an experience where I felt like it was a color issue, you know, and I just felt there's times when I used to go up in the courthouse and say, hey, I'm going to do this. And they go, well, you got to go to court and do this. But then I had an experience where I was in the bank and I just feel like—
Don't use no names. Don't use no names.
I won't. But I was in the bank and I just felt like it was a color issue, where they were able to call the police and say that I said I was going to kill them. And then next thing you know, the detectives was at my door. And I keep saying to myself, had this been the other way around, would you have shown up at her door?
No.
Or would you have thought that I was being the angry Black woman?
That's what it would have.
I mean, I just feel like the video, you know.
So is it fair to say that these delusional white women are guilty of doing this to Black women, women of color as well?
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to get to. I don't think that it really has to do with men, and particularly. I know we're talking about that though. I feel like it plays a part on both sexes. I don't feel like it's just about men. However, again, I can't see it not being believed when a Caucasian woman calls the police. And again, we're considered angry. So why not come with the whole SWAT team and, you know, see what's going on? Because Susie said, and Susie's word is her word.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me stop you right. Hold on. Before we go any further, let me stop you right there. So, because Josie, I want you to expand. You know, I don't want to create the narrative. I don't want to paint the picture. I want you to paint the picture. I want you to share that experience that you're referring to, but I want you to be as candid as possible. So if you're just joining us, we just watched a video where one of our Caucasian sisters decided that she was going to stop the man of color, the Black man, from entering a luxury building in which he owns his apartment or his unit there, because she felt like that he did not belong and he should show her some identification. She even took it a step further, and you guys correct me if I'm wrong, don't take my word for it. You can go review the video later on, but I believe I heard her say, my building. So
yes, I seen that. I seen that video. And what I want to say before we get so far gone is that lady knew that he lived there and everything. Her problem with him was she didn't want him there. She was harassing him. She knew he was a tenant.
She clearly see him going to his apartment
every day. It's just that she got to the point she wanted to confront him and make him feel like he doesn't belong.
So
and then you see he had to force his way past her, walk to his apartment. She followed him to his apartment.
Okay, so again, before we're gonna come back to that, Josie, go ahead and give us a in-depth, detailed description. Share that story with us about the bank incident. Just don't use no names, no locations.
So I came in, first and foremost, right? I was coming down a hill And I went and I took the turn into the bank. And when I did so, there was someone in their car. And, you know, I was already through when I realized traffic was coming on both sides of the streets. It was like a skinny, small street, and traffic was coming both ways. So I whipped in there, and she was standing while she was blocking it with her car. So then, you can't come in this way. So I was like, what do you want me to do? Back out into the moving traffic? My bad, whatever it was. It went further. I thought it would just stop there, where you would remove yourself and let me proceed with what I was coming to do, which was banking. However, they proceeded to continue to block me and continue to tell me you can't come in this way. I proceeded to tell them again, what do you want me to do? Back up into the traffic. And then I went around this person and went and parked my car. They proceeded to follow me.
Yeah. It's their civic duty.
So you're not gonna come in this bank. Yes, I am. I'm a customer of this bank. What are you talking about? Well, continue to follow me. Well, I'm the assistant, whatever. And I was like, well, then if you're the assistant, whatever, then go inside and assist the manager.
Your assist, exactly.
So I said, but you're not. I said, you're not police. I was like, you're not even what did I say, security for the lot. I was like, I'm trying to figure out why you're making a big deal out of this. But anyway, we proceeded to continue to talk until we got inside the bank. Now the manager's joining us, and they're just more or less like, ma'am, I guess joining in, saying that I wasn't going to do my banking there, whatever. I ignored them, proceeded to go to the cashier, did my banking, got my money. As I was leaving, she was like, don't ever come back here again. I was like, I can come back here. I said, like I said, I am a customer to this bank, rada, rada. And if I need to come back here, I will. So I left. It was a big to do. Now, this is the day I learned that moving forward forever and a day, I will stick around. You will put the handcuffs on me before I will turn around, go home, and think that this was nothing. I mean,
it was nothing. It was nothing.
Well, let her finish. Let her finish.
I left, and maybe like 2-3 days later, I'm at work, you know, being a good citizen that I am. My son calls and tells me, Mom Dukes, the detectives are at the door. Now I'm like, the detectives? Thinking to myself in my head, what did I do when I was younger? This is all I started thinking, like, what did I do that I was younger and it's coming back to get me right now? And I'm like, I don't live my life like that. So I couldn't put my finger on anything. But long story short, they told my son what it was about, and I needed to come in, because if I didn't come in, it was coming to get me.
Yeah.
I tell you, I've never in all my life, I get down there to this thing, you know, I brought some money with me just in case they put the handcuffs on me. I could try to bail myself out. I got in there, and it was a whole episode of the first 48. I had a good cop, I had a bad cop. And lo and behold, there was a Caucasian cop and an African American cop. You guys can imagine who's the good cop and who's the bad cop. Don't be quick to say, you know, we look out for one another, because that was the situation in this.
That's case. Mr. Oreo trying to show out for Officer White Cop.
It was more or less like, in his head, it was a done deal. I said these words in X, Y, and Z. And the Caucasian's man head, he thought, I knew this was something small that got blown up. I tell you what, ma'am, just don't ever go back to that area, to that branch, because, you know, X, Y, and Z, and this will disappear. But that's not the issue for me. The issue is that someone came in here and said some false stuff about me. And I never said those things to these people. I said, there's cameras in the bank. Why not rewind the cameras and look at me being threatening, or whatever it was that you said I said? Because it was that I was going to come back and kill them. Now, I told them, I said, look at me. Do I look like I'm going around here committing murders? Said my job is for me to help people. So I was really, really hurt. I was just like, this is crazy. And all my years, if I wanted to make a complaint or something, I was told I need to go to court. But I guess I'm just the wrong color or something where, you know, I should have been able to walk or call the police and say X, Y, and Z. Now, truth be told, I don't even think that, I just think that is just stupid about the system. Like, it should be the same for everybody. If I have to go to court, I go to court.
Yeah.
Well, you would have had to go to court because in that sense, it was like they slandered your name. They was trying to tear
your character.
Yeah, that they was attacking your character, your credibility, or whatever they would call it. So that's why you had to go to court.
And it didn't stop there. It didn't stop there. So
there's
maybe
more.
like 2 weeks later, yeah, it is more, and it pissed me off. It was like maybe like 2 weeks later, we was getting ready to
went
go.
in and everything was cool, but still shit still going on.
We was getting ready to go Christmas shopping. They froze my account. Like they straight shut me down. Told me that I needed to wait for my check to be mailed to me in the mail. I couldn't believe this. I was like, this is crazy. This is just
that was time to get a lawyer then.
Crazy. But on some realness, years later, I got a check from this bank, this in particular bank. And I kept saying, what is this money for? I was like, I don't, in fact, I don't have a bank account with you because you kicked me out of your bank. So for me, it was more or less like, what is this money for? But then when I asked what it was for, they said it was a public service reward. But I didn't file a complaint with the corporate office, and I continued to call. I continued to write emails. I was really pissed off, and I continued to tell myself, if this was a Caucasian person, they probably would have rolled it to the end. You know what I mean?
But look at here,
let me
you
even put
down
race
the
into
line,
that. Let me just say a more. I don't want to put
down the line.
I want to say someone
for your problems that you went through. It might not have been a lot, but you got compensated for your problems that you went through at that bank.
I don't want to put race into it. I just want to say if I had a little bit more time, someone who had a little bit more time on their hands, you know, to pay attention to that whole situation, maybe it was time to call the lawyer, you know.
Shout out to God for righting the wrong. You know, that's where that came from. That Good Samaritan money. Shout out to God for righting the wrong. Sister Kiana, want to get you to jump right in there. How you feel about this? So I'm gonna ask Tanya, since she did a good job of it before. Go ahead and give us a description of the last video, what we saw, the behavior of the I guess you could say the good citizen that was trying to prevent this angry, violent, savage man from taking over the building.
Is Sean still on the Is Sean still on? Yeah, well, Sean, he seen the video. He explained it perfectly.
All right, Sean, break it down for Kiana.
The first video?
The second video where the man was trying to enter back in his home and she was blocking him from getting in the building.
All right, hold on, guys. Before you go, Sean, I think Kiana was trying to go ahead, Kiana.
Yeah. I hope everyone did their civic duty today and voted. Go ahead, Sean.
I voted.
Right, that's important. I accept mine's in.
Me too.
All right.
Okay.
All right, so I'm speaking on the second video.
Yes.
And what am I speaking on? Explaining what took place?
Just giving me a summary of what happened. That's
Oh, okay. So it was a Caucasian lady who proceeded to block a black man from entering into the same building that they both lived in. And what she was trying to do was make him prove to her, as if she was someone of importance to the residents or the building itself, prove to her that he actually lived there. And of course, he kept his cool and proceeded to, get himself past her as she followed him all the way to his apartment to then find out that he actually did live in the building. That's just pretty much it. She took it upon herself to be, I guess, security or neighborhood watch or whatever.
Yeah.
And so did she claim later on that she was afraid of him because
no, didn't claim anything like that. To give even a after in-depth of the video, because again, that was during that. This was all around the same time of the previous video that we saw with the Central Park situation, where this was during the hype of the whole Karen era. And so what ended up happening was she ended up, because it was recorded, went live, this, that, and the other, she too ended up losing her job behind the situation.
As she should have.
Well, I mean, I think when there's a difference between being curious and overstepping your bounds. Like, I don't sign my checks to you, so I don't have to answer to you. So what I do is mind it. But that's a lot of people's business. A problem. They don't mind the business that pays them. So I don't understand why you're doing extra work when you don't get paid. So you need to mind your business. I don't understand it. It's a problem. And more people, and I think it's also an entitlement because of, we're not going to sugarcoat this, because of color. People feel like they're entitled to know whatever they want to know. And that is not, that's not how I live my life. So I guess if you approach me, especially on a bad day, it will not be good for you. So God willing, he keeps me away from these situations.
So I think the good thing that came out of this, it
was recorded.
The neighborhood watch, the neighborhood watch, or the person that she was assuming to be building security and stuff like that. Now she's free to pursue a profession, where she can do security work for the building, because she don't have no job now. So I guess that's a good thing.
We want somebody like that in a position of authority?
Hell no.
You don't.
Absolutely not.
Absolutely
bad. Absolutely not. But because she doesn't have a job now, and she was so concerned about him being there, and it was her building, so now she got plenty of time to police her building. Because remember, she said it was her building.
Yeah, she did.
So now, we know she has more than one profession. So she's also a part-time security guard. So now because she doesn't have a full-time job, according to that video, she now can continue to partake in her part-time job, which is being building security.
Excuse me for saying this. I think that she needs to go in her apartment, paint all her walls inside that apartment black, so she can get used to the color that she's so much worrying about.
Oh wow!
Here's something else too.
Go ahead, Sean.
If we go back and look and recall these two videos and actually keep it in the time frame that it was actually done, we've actually spoke on this once before, where we was talking about how I can't remember what the topic was, but it was based on how we as people of color have never had a problem with people that weren't our color being in our so-called neighborhoods. And so because we're all able to go and live where we want to live, this, that, and the other, is I forget which sister said it earlier, but it's a sign to them of being privileged to where it's like, what are you doing over here? Now they know that we are capable and have the money and the education, this, that, and the other, to live and be anywhere we want to be. but they still want to keep things the way that they were.
Yeah,
we don't have a problem with them coming our way, but they have a problem with us going their way.
When I saw that video, I assumed that she thought that he didn't have no right to be there, like, because it was a nice building.
But clear as day,
exactly.
you see, he got keys.
That's what she wanted him to pull out, keys, and she wanted to see him use the keys to the door he was trying to enter.
Yeah,
he got all that.
Nope. Go back and watch that. She didn't want to see any keys. She said, "Do you have identification?"
Cases. That's what she wanted.
But when she found him go to his door, his apartment door, what happened?
Yeah, but how did he get to the apartment door? He forced himself past her.
He had to get
Yes.
past her.
But she followed him all the way up there to continue to be.
That's fine. And she still wanted to know, prove to me that you live here.
Live here.
Because any of us can have keys.
Don't you see me with my keys in the door?
Nah.
Any of us can have keys.
People like her in there, ain't no way you gonna be able to get into this building and not have a key with people like her. Come on.
No, you're missing it, Timmy. You're missing because that could have been his sister's apartment for all she knows, and could have had keys. So the keys don't mean anything. She wanted identification indicating that you were on the lease, you were on his mailbox.
That's not
your address, all that.
That's not none of your business.
I
got keys to this building. Long as I got keys to this building.
You would have been going to jail acting like that, Uncle T.
It may not have been.
I got keys to the building.
It may not have been her.
I'm not doing nothing wrong. I got keys to the building.
Check it out, Timmy. Timmy, check it out. Check it out, Timmy.
Yeah.
Let's just say it wasn't her and it was the cops. Now you're gonna tell the cops because you got keys. If they actually
I got
your
keys to
identification,
the building. I'm not stealing nothing. I got keys to the building. If I have keys to the building, that means I live here. I'm not better.
Timmy,
Timmy,
I need you to listen to what I'm asking you, sir. I need you to listen to what I'm asking you and think logically and not emotionally. If the cops asked you to provide me some proof of identification that you live here, your keys is not not proof that you live here.
That's true. That's true. That's true. But now I have to
identification requires you got to prove that I was doing something illegal. I committed
it doesn't.
crime. Listen, I watch them every single night before I go to sleep. These police officers ask black men, white men, all colors, show them identification, and you know what the cops get in return? Get out my face, I don't show you nothing. I know the law. That's what they tell them. They said, too, you can prove that I committed a crime for me to show you my ID.
But Robert, this situation would have been different. Because here's where they have the right to ask you that question, because they was called to the scene and they're investigating the scene.
Sean, I watch this every night. I know what you're saying about this building. I watch them say people called them. You're disturbing the peace. Do you live in this area? You were speeding, all of that. Whatever the case may be, we want your ID. You know what they tell them? You're trying to run my name for other self-pleasures. You're trying to call my job, get me fired. You're trying to find out where I live to kill me later. They tell the police officers all type of stuff now.
All right. So just for intent purpose, so we keep it pertaining to topic at hand. We're talking about, are white women afraid of black men? And based upon that video and that lady's behavior,
she's not afraid.
Do you guys think that she was in fear of that black man?
Oh no.
All right. So since we're in agreement on that, let's move on to the next video. Tech person.
I'm babysitting, right? Y'all see, look, I got 2 kids in the backseat with me. I'm babysitting. There's this lady across the street. We just came from Subway and Walmart. This lady over here, she's following me.
A Cobb County man says someone called the police on him for babysitting while black.
Corey Lewis says he was babysitting 2 children when a white woman approached him in a parking lot.
And he says she wanted to see whether the children were okay and even followed him to his house. Fox 5's Denise Dillon is live in Cobb County tonight. Denise, you talked to Lewis and to the father of those children.
Yeah, I did, and they're all just shocked over this whole thing. They still can't believe it. They've known each other for a couple of years. They're good friends, and they say it's just astounding that someone would see Corey Lewis with the 2 children alone and think it's strange enough that they would call police to report a suspicious person.
I'm babysitting, right? Y'all see, look, I got 2 kids in the backseat with me. I'm babysitting. There's this lady across the street. We just came from Subway and Walmart. This lady over here, she's following me.
Stunned at what was happening, Corey Lewis turned to Facebook Live. He was babysitting 10-year-old Addison and her little brother Nicholas. He says after taking the kids to lunch, he was approached by a woman in the parking lot, wanting to know if she could talk to the children to see if they were okay, and taking down Lewis's license plate number.
From her perception, she'd seen something that wasn't right. She's being judgmental. Me looking the way I am, being with 2 kids who don't look like me.
Lewis says the woman followed him to a gas station, then all the way to his house about 5 minutes away. The next thing he knew, police showed up, wanting to talk to the kids.
Hey, can y'all step out?
I talked to Cobb County Police, who told me they were responding to a call of a suspicious person. The officer talked to the children, determined everything was okay, and they were gone. But the whole experience left Lewis and the children upset. Lewis has spent plenty of time with these kids. Nicholas is part of Lewis's after-school youth mentoring program, inspired by Lewis. Now, their dad had to explain to his children what happened and why.
I asked him, did you understand what happened tonight? And he said, well, a weird lady was following us around because Mr. Lewis has brown skin and we have peachy skin.
Made me feel like it was definitely wrong and that people shouldn't be racist and it doesn't matter what skin color we are.
Lewis says after that Facebook post, he has gotten plenty of support, and it has helped shed some light on the fact that there are still some people out there who are very judgmental. Reporting live in Cobb County, Denise Dillon, Fox 5 News.
Yeah, it shines quite.
So, again, this seems to be a pattern, and I'm starting to wonder, should the question be, are white women afraid of men, black men, or should we reverse it? Should black men be afraid of these white women? Did they seem to think that they are the law, so to speak, or did they have a right to infringe on your privacy, so to speak? Patsy, how you feel about that last video?
I kind of feel like it's crazy because really if he was a black woman babysitting those kids, I don't think she would have had a problem with a black woman babysitting them because that's more natural for a black woman to be watching white kids than a black man.
Whoa.
But still it's like judgmental on a black man. It's like, come on, really? They're friends, they're neighbors. These kids know this man and the parents know this man. So they entrusted him to watch these kids. And they weren't afraid. Just this woman was like, wait a minute, what's this black man? What did he kidnap them or something? But what if he adopted those kids and he wasn't babysitting? What then? You know, what would how should she be kind of like, she's already looking guilty, but she'll really be looking more guilty being a racist woman, white woman, than anything else, you know?
Her behavior was definitely questionable. Deli, you want to jump in there?
Well, I'm just getting everybody's perspective, and I agree with Patsy, you know, that, but it's all, listen, there's a negative and a positive to make that balance. And I think prejudice will always exist until I die, until one of us die, and so on, because there are, in all nations, not just here in the US, but in all nations, there are so many different colors of all of us, you know that, and in other states and countries, they don't have it as bad. It's not as vain as it is probably in the US, you know, with interracial couples or having that fear. It's just probably more natural, I think, in other countries. You know, it's not so much vain as it is here in US. And it's because of the prejudice, you know, and the slavery and all of that, the ancestry, what was taught, what was built, and it's just going on and on. Yeah. I think it'll be here until I die, and so on.
Can I
jump right in? Yeah.
I kind of disagree, because it is worldwide because of colonialism. There is a fairer skin Asians do not like darker skinned Asians. It is,
yes, ma'am.
It is worldwide. And as you can see, even with Ukraine, the Ukrainians were very racist towards Black people trying to leave the country.
Yeah,
so it
exactly.
is worldwide. It isn't just in the States.
Okay.
But I think what I think, Dave, is that the videos that we saw already, the 2 videos that we saw, everybody hit it on the nose when they said it was privilege. But then it's also they wanted to see if they can get another Black person shot and killed by having the police come in and overreact by coming in guns blazing, or you know, just coming in and harassing. But they all both of those 2 women wanted to see what was going to happen if they called the police on these 2 Black people, and wanted to see the worst that happened, so it can continue on, you know, because like Sean said, this was during the George Floyd, and they was, you know, all of them want to show their ignorance and show their privilege, like, you know.
Shout out to all those brothers in the videos that was able to dispel that myth that Black men are angry and that we are savages and we're just thugs and we're so aggressive and we're not in control of our emotions and we just want to kill and destroy everything. Shout out to those guys, because they showed great restraint when dealing with these aggressive women.
I kind of wish you would have showed the video where it was I think it was more recent, with the football player. He was at one of his houses. He was at one of his houses, and she thought that he was living in a poor community, and he was checking the mailbox. He drove his car down a little bit, right past his house, go to the mailbox, and they had some words. I think she told him she was going to punch him in the face and all this extra stuff. She called the cop. Her husband was there with her and all of this. The cops come. You know, I don't even know if you got that video to show that one. But
my brother. Today is your lucky day. Tell him what he's won, Timmy. Show him the next video.
All right.
On Wednesday evening, Pro Football Hall of Fame wide receiver Terrell Owens posted on Instagram nearly 11-minute interaction between himself and a Karen named Kate in his neighborhood, who accused Owens of speeding through the residence. She then called the police on Owens. In the heated conversation, Owens and the woman exchanged versions of events which led up to him recording it on his phone.
He got out of his car.
car and started harassing me. He put his car in park.
Right, because you're going to yell at me and telling me I'm almost hit you, and I didn't.
But you didn't have to get out of your fucking car.
You didn't have to talk to me that way either, Karen.
You're a black man approaching a white woman.
First of all, you had your boy right here, your husband right here. So first of all, I don't do that type of stuff.
Relax. You did. You put your car in park and you came
Yeah,
at me.
First of all, I didn't come at you.
Yes, you did.
You can stop all of that, Karen.
Okay. Owens repeats time and again that the experience is unreal and calls her Karen after he alleges she is misrepresenting the truth to himself and the arriving officer.
This is real. This is real. This is real. This is real. I've never seen it. I've seen it, but I've never been a part of this. This is real life. And now she's crying. Her husband tried to tell her to go in the house, but now she wanted to do the whole Karen thing. So I'm going to be here with my camera to show everything.
As Owens explains his side of the story, he notes the accusing Karen began to cry to the officer. Owens points out her tears only began to flow once the officer arrived.
First of all, you need to stop that.
But prior to that, he was cursed at several times by the woman. At 48 years old, Owens is still the ultimate competitor who trains to this day like an active NFL player. And he kept that same energy and matched her insult for insult.
Just like a Karen. How did I almost hit you and I'm going to the mailbox? Yeah, I called you a Karen when I came over here after you said I called the police.
When Karen calls the police, black men die, and they know it. Whether the original Dick Rowland in Tulsa, Oklahoma, or Emmett Till in Money, Mississippi, or Christian Cooper in Central Park, throughout American history, racist white women have sicked the police on black men and boys when they felt uncomfortable or agitated. In too many cases across the country, police have been seen hopping out of their squad cars to attack the first black man, woman, or child in sight. When a white woman can call the police while implicitly understanding her accusations may lead to his death, it's time for federal intervention.
But you didn't have to get out of your fucking car.
You didn't have to talk to me that way either, Karen.
You're a black man approaching a white woman.
Until laws are expanded or defined to threaten the freedom of Karens who are allowed to call the police and have them do their bidding, black men, regardless of status, will continue to be targeted and in some instances murdered. What if a trigger-happy cop showed up to that scene and ended the life of Owens all over a neighborly dispute? Would she get away with it and go on living her life like Karen Bryant, Sarah Page, and so many others? The historical and present-day answer has always been a resounding yes. After surviving years upon years in a sport as violent as football, Owens could have met his fate on Wednesday evening due to the mere accusation and tears of a white woman. Black men need federal protection against hate crimes involving Karens, and until we have them, they will continue to menace, manipulate, and murder.
Michael, I support you. Michelle, I support you. Paul, I support you. Pamela, I support you. Samuel, I support you. So will you support us too? This commercial has been brought to you by EmporiumPlus.org, where you will find the latest fashions. And still a man, you serum, and we forever SOS support our sisters, Adopto Paris and Adopto Paris ladies first. To truly support, we must support all. I'm kind of glad you had it. I'm kind of glad before Sean talked. I'm kind of glad you had it broken down that way. But I seen the raw footage of just them two at the very beginning, waiting for the police to come and everything. It was crazy.
But he handled himself with dignity.
Yes.
So no type of aggression towards her. He ain't even cursed. She cursing at him. You know, so that's how we get them. That's how you get those Karens, by being cool and keeping your composure and film them. They don't like to be caught on camera and being fucking seen with acting out and trying to oversell or make things more bigger than it really is. And you the one that's really trying to turn something to get a name for one. And like they said, get you know, get the reputation. Oh, she's the one that called the cops that had that black man killed. She gonna wear it as a badge.
Sean,
did her husband leave her out there?
Yep, Sean.
All right. So I saw this and I'm opposite of what everybody else thinks. I didn't think she was a Karen in this situation for the simple fact that she called because he jumped out of his car and began to approach them. And they had an altercation first. And she kept going back and forth. She was explaining to him why she was upset and like, can you please get back in your car? Can you please step away from me? She was asking him to do that, but because she talked to him in the manner that she talked to him, Terrell decided to get out of his car and address it. And so, of course, I mean, we all know Terrell's 6'3", 2 and some change.
Come across threatening.
And although he may not be cursing this, that, and the other, he's not backing down from her, and he's saying what he's saying to her. So to diffuse it, she didn't listen to her husband because her husband was trying to get her to go in the house.
She thought she was in the right. She thought she was in the right.
Before we go on
the mailbox?
Hold on, no, but Sean, can I ask Sean this? Sean, you did not hear, if you watched the raw footage like I watched it, you did not hear, oh my God, what are you doing? You're trying to run me over. You're trying to hit me with your car.
I did say all of that, and I didn't say all of that. I seen all of that. And what I'm saying is that's all she was saying because he was speeding down the street.
The mailbox is at the end of his thing. He told her out his own words, how could I speed and I went about this far from my house to down my drive where the mailbox is?
Okay, listen to this. So now that because you're talking on that, it's and the other, and not greater on this than you are, but because I follow Terrell Owens is known to have a heavy foot no matter where he's going.
All of them do when they got them.
He has a heavy foot. And so all she said, because if you listen to the video, she also said, you're speeding down the street. And he didn't say that I wasn't speeding. He said, how did I almost hit you? Because she said, you almost hit me because you were speeding down the street. And he said, how did I almost hit you? He never he never even addressed the fact that he was speeding or not speeding.
Well, I don't know, because when I seen it, I heard him tell her I couldn't be speeding. I'm leaving my house to go straight down this road to the mailbox. How was I speeding? See, I don't know if you watched that whole video. You might have, but I have.
And just
When I
because
say
he's
this
known,
is key words, because it was taught behavior. You can hear it when she said, but you didn't have to get out your car. You're a black man approaching a white woman. This is the same thing for the last video. What do you think they taught the kids when you see the newscasters saying, oh, being pulled over while babysitting while black? This is being a joke being made out of us. No bull crap. This is like it should be more serious, but we're going around calling these people Karen. And
just because he's known to have the heavy foot doesn't mean that he was actually speeding at that time.
All right, let me ask you guys this question. How fast did he go?
He was, because he went on the I Am Athlete show and even addressed it and said that, I was going a little fast, but she said I almost hit her and she was nowhere near the proximity of where I was.
So what I'm gonna say is, at the risk of any unknown and this further dispute, let's just say this. Let's all take the time later on and go back and do some more research on this, because what I'm trying to show you guys is this is a pattern. But what I want to ask you guys is, before we go any further, what did her husband do and where was he when the cops came?
That's what I wanted to know.
Sean told you what happened was he had enough, because at one point I think she told him she was gonna punch him in his face, and she ain't never had the balls to walk over there and do what she said. And the name calling became too much for the husband, because he wanted her just to walk away from the beginning and go in the house.
Right. He trying to get her in the house.
He ended up going in the house.
Okay, so Kiana, what did you see? Because you know, you guys, this is like reporting an accident. Everybody's gonna have a different report. So Kiana, when the cops came, where was the husband?
I didn't see him or hear him. I mean, the video to me was dark. My thing is, it was deliberate because she made a point, because she could have just said, "You're a man approaching me." She didn't have to throw the black man in there, but she made a specific point to point out that he was a black man approaching a white woman.
Because she know who he is. She definitely know who he is.
I mean, even if she didn't know who he was, because not everybody's into football or sports or whatever. I mean, I'm not, so.
It just goes back to what I said at the beginning. Why are you in my space? What are you doing in my space being black?
Exactly.
That's crazy.
And the fear part, she didn't have any problem threatening him or saying that she was going to do anything. So where is this fear? It wasn't until she worked herself up so the police would find some sympathy towards her, and that she would be a you know, because you know, women's tears are well, white women's tears are like angel wings to white men, so they jump in and be a hero. And as that reporter said, that could have ended in a totally different manner.
Because if you would have heard how she called the cops, "Oh, Harry kid, this is tall black man," she put on for the police, and the black man himself said, "I'm not going nowhere. I'll wait till they get here." She thought he was gonna run in the house.
Because he know he ain't did nothing. If you ain't did nothing wrong, you stand up for what you believe. You ain't did nothing wrong.
And I think his wife comes out, or whoever that lady is with him, because she told him, "You're living in the slumps. Why would, if you're such and such who you say you are, why would you be over here in this area in the slumps?" He said, "How come I can't have two houses or a couple of houses? I just happen to have one in her neighborhood."
Exactly.
So let me ask you guys this again. In this sense, like the other videos, does this white woman appear to be in fear of this black man?
No, she isn't.
No.
What they are, they come across as troubled souls, troublemakers.
Exactly.
Okay, so let me just go around the panel. Kiana, in this sense, do you feel that this this white woman was in fear of this black man?
No, they're the ultimate, you know, throw stones and then hide their hands.
Yeah.
So no, she wasn't. I stated that already. She wasn't in fear, because if you're in fear, you don't run towards the problem, you run away from the problem. So she was in so much fear, she should have went in her house like her husband said. But no, she was adamant and had to have her say of what goes on in her neighborhood, or who's approaching her, or who can talk to her, or whatever. Her privilege, she put it on display.
Okay, Patsy, how do you feel about it? Do you think that this white woman was in fear of this black man in this sense? And
no, like she said just now, is she was privileged. She was putting on a show, and when listening to her husband and saying, like, "Babe, come on, let's go in the house. You need to shut up and move on," you know? And no, she just stood out there and and then did a boo-hoo when the cops came. That's all it is. Boiled down to privilege.
Deli, same question.
I think it's what the gentleman said earlier. It's that privilege. What are you doing here? You know, and how dare you approach me? you know, and she went above her husband. Her husband's supposed to be her protector. He's supposed to be the voice, but she was the voice. Ooh. So you know who's wearing the pants. No, what are you doing here, you know? And so as the young lady said in her comment, she was specific. You're a Black man and you're approaching a white woman. So she knows the deal. She knows the role.
Mhm.
It's
Mhm.
not supposed to be there. You're not supposed to talk to me or anything. And
Mhm.
so, yeah, and to further that, I'm gonna call the cops on you.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so
To
no,
me, that was all.
I didn't see no.
That was all.
When the cops get there, what are you gonna say? This man almost hit
She
me.
should have won the Oscar for her tears and things
I
that
mean,
she
that's
put
what I
on.
would want to know. What
You
happened?
know, because
What
that
happened
was
that
Oscar
she
winning
says
shit
that?
that she did.
So Timmy, so is it your opinion that this white woman was not in fear of this Black man in this sense?
No.
Okay. All right.
Her whole thing was to try to create some more dilemma where another Black man has gotten killed behind some white woman saying that he did something, you know, because it's been recorded that Black men has been killed over women, white women saying that they stole something, whether white men or white women, that they stole something, or they look suspicious, or they saw kids in the car with them that's not their color, they kidnapped them, you know, and what we us Black folks do is we get fed up. And sometimes we fly off the handle, and bad situations come with that when we know we innocent, but we ticked off and pissed off, so we go off, and they can't wait to, you know, because as soon as you go off, they gonna pounce on you, you know. So we got to learn to control ourselves, and like both of those guys in the video, the first video and the second video, they both hold their composure. They did exactly what they were supposed to do, turn on their cameras, because before you couldn't do that unless you had a camcorder.
That's
Now,
practice now.
everybody got their phones that got cameras
Thank
on
God
it.
for the internet.
That's practice.
So
go ahead, Timmy.
So all that is good for pulling out your phone to make sure you get treated right and you don't get violated. It's good. When they tell you turn your phones off, you have the right. I want to record. They can't tell you turn your phone off because you have the right to do that. And if any one of them tell you they thinking you don't know your rights, that you can film anything the police do, you can film that. They cannot tell you to turn your phone off.
All right. So Tanya, in this situation, what's your opinion? Do you think that this white woman was in fear of this Black man?
No, I don't. I think that she knew who he was. I think that she saw an opportunity to create chaos and get some likes on social media from her people.
Or try to get some money.
Try to get some money. There you go, Timmy.
I think, Tanya, is what you said in the beginning. Love has no color. That's so very true. Some of us gets it and some of us don't, because the curse cannot be broken. You understand that? They if they cross over, they are not welcome back to the other side. You know
Exactly.
What I mean? It's a
do or
what,
die
thing.
I was going to say that about how, you know, when the white women mess with black men, they can't come back to the white race.
You damn right, because those black men they're unfair, those black men.
You guys, just stay right there. Just stay right there, because I want to make sure I go around the board and get everybody. Y'all can continue that conversation afterwards. Sean, you want to go ahead and touch that?
No, she wasn't in fear of him because she stayed in complete communication and altercation with him from beginning to end.
She was very combative.
Never even heeding to the instructions given to her by her husband.
She don't value him.
So one more time, just so we clear, where was the husband once the cops arrived?
He was there.
In the house.
He was standing outside.
He wasn't on the scene, Uncle D. He was somewhere, but he wasn't in front.
He wasn't racing, right?
So I just want to be clear about this. So the husband did not have any words with the person that his wife was being combative with. He didn't show any signs of needing to protect her.
No, because she was handling her own.
Okay.
He even told him, if I was so threatening, how could that be possible? And your husband's standing right beside you. That was at the beginning. When before the cops came.
And no, he would have protected her because of that.
Let's move on to the next person. Josie, in this situation, do you think this white woman was in fear of this black man?
No, not at all. She was very challenging. She wanted to see where it could go, and she wanted to see how far she can push it. And I don't know if she knew who he was. And like Sean said, he follows him. So why she could possibly be following him too, you know? And he's speeding as usual. I'm gonna say something this time. Who knows?
Don't they live in the same neighborhood?
Yes.
And I'm quite sure it's not like just any time. I don't know where they were, anything like that, because it was too dark in the video. But how slumville is it?
She lives there too.
Exactly. So, but anyway, I don't think she was intimidated by him, not by the least. Who's intimidated in the situation was her husband by her as well, because that's why he went in the house. He was like, "Oh boy, here she goes again. Come on, in the house," and she still didn't come in the house. Why? If it was such a big deal and it was so much of a threat, I do see a man coming out at the time that he needs to come out.
Exactly.
It was son came out, but it wasn't the man. Minister of Conspiracy, Mr. G. Lacey, you want to take us home?
Wait a minute, I didn't even get a chance to say.
Oh, we're not to you yet.
You're gonna let Gregory go first, and I'll take us home.
Yeah, we're not to you yet. Gregory, go ahead.
I was gonna say, for this video and the last video, I feel like it's just more seriousness that we need to take to what's going on, because like you said, it's been going on for years where a white woman can get a black man killed, and we were going off joking about it, calling these people Karen the whole time, while the Asian people were beating on black people too, but they were saying we were making fun of them and they get reparations, something we was complaining about. So we got to pay more attention to, we got to take things more serious sometimes. It shouldn't be a Karen situation like he was trying to do. She could have got him shot like the guy said in the video. We would have been seeing another NFL player slump because a white woman called the cops in. That's crazy.
But Karen was his only way to insult her intelligently. He insulted her intelligently, called her Karen.
So just so we clear about this, Gregory, what is your perspective? Do you think that this white woman was in fear of this black man or not?
No, I just think it's a superiority complex and a privilege problem. They think we must abide by what? The law. If the law is helping these people, in history it shows that you can call the cops on a black man and be a white woman and get him killed, or you're just gonna be right, period, because you're white.
So I purposely wanted to wait to come to the one and only translucent brother on the panel, the one that just found out he was black today. How many minutes ago, Tanya?
Oh,
it's
about
about
45 minutes.
Okay, so he who has just found out that he was a man of color today, do you think that this white woman was in fear of the black man who you just found out you are today?
Deeply suntan.
Okay.
Now, I go on to say this. She was not in fear, and I know she had two goals. These two goals being, she was out there to provoke this black man into doing some harm to her. The second one was to break him spiritually, financial, and just his manhood, period.
Okay. Now, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, let's try to do this as a collective.
Oh, my people, the verdict's in. Adopt or perish. You, SAM, still a man, and be forever. Adopt or perish, ladies first. SOS, support our sisters. Even if you support our sisters only. No pun intended. Scurry yourself over to EmporiumPlus.org, where you will find the latest fashions.
So again, ladies and gentlemen, let's try to do this as a collective unit. Everybody, can you see my shirt?
You can't make sense out of no
nonsense.
Okay,
Yeah.
so on the
I've
count
been
of three,
waiting
let's
to get
read
my
it. Let's read it together. One,
that's for
two,
sure. I
three.
need that
You
black.
can't make sense out of nonsense.
I don't
Now
try.
say it like you mean
and
it.
I don't try.
Say it like you mean it. One more time.
Can't make sense
Can't
out of
make
nonsense.
Can't make sense out of nonsense, and I don't try.
Now, before we go on further, y'all can thank Sister Kiana for this shirt. And Robin, where can you find such items like this?
If you have the time today or tomorrow, feel free to check out EmporiumPlus.org, where you will find the latest fashions. And Adopt or Perish, Still a Man, You SAM, SOS, support our sisters, and be forever, and Adopt or Perish, ladies first.
This is the Still a Man show.